What is up, everybody, and welcome to, maybe the start of something new. I don't know. There's a lot of games going on inside of Next Fest, so I was just like, okay, cool. I'm not gonna be able to edit because I don't have the willpower to edit that many videos from the amount of games I'm gonna play. But I did want to try to tell you guys about the games and just my thoughts on them, kind of like a mini review since the demos are not already out. And some of these games don't even have release dates, so definitely not trying to just be like, this is the end product, this is what you will see when the game comes out. I'm pretty sure, because I played 2 demos now, and I think 6-ish months apart. So Echoes of Mystralia kind of goes in the camp of I actually kind of have an idea what this game's gonna be like, because from the 2 demos, the idea has not changed. You start off in the world in the kind of same way, but it's not. We have an opening cutscene. Ooh, look at us, hello! But the gameplay itself hasn't really changed, and that comes with some goods and some negatives. I don't know why I swapped said good, bad, and negative, but anyway. So Echoes of Mystralia is, I don't even know if it's connected to Majors of Mystralia, but it does take a core premise of Major Mystralia, and that is the combination / the connectivity of different modifiers, adjectives, and other things. At least it was a little bit more complicated inside of Major Mystralia. But in Echoes of Mystralia, you have main spells that can be modified and can have spells added to it. Kind of like you can have so your base spell is like a whirlwind boomerang that goes out and comes back to you, and you can add a fire trail onto it, so that the fire trail, boom, goes a distance and comes back with it, boom, ground on fire is a beautiful, luxurious thing. But say if you got something that's like, oh yes, I have a ball of rock, what is that called? A boulder comes out whenever I do this spell. Okay, so I can attach, instead of the flame trail on the actual spell, I can attach the flame trail onto the boulder. So now the flame goes to the boulder. And there's just that many different combination of ideas that is just the entire premise of the gameplay for Echoes of Mystralia. That has some benefits and some negatives, because while many people have played, especially in the time since Echoes of Mystralia first made their announcement of coming out, so many indie games have had just spell slinging, spell combinations, Noida-esque spell combinations and spell creations that I don't want to say blows this out of the water, but makes its selling point for what makes the gameplay so unique and so dynamic for Echoes of Mystralia. I have seen done to a grander and wild, completely wilder scale in some of these other games. Now, that is not a complete knock onto Echoes of Mystralia, but what I would say is a potential knock is this meta progression, because it is a roguelite in the a la the veins of Hades, especially when it comes to the way the game is structured for its narrative. You can't die because you're floating through the memories of the world, going back, recreating and reliving memories of the people that you interact with to try to pull them out of pretty much member berry stasis fields that keep people trapped in the past. And that's how you get the boss fights and everything, because it's oh no, the grand protector of this area is inside of his past whenever the forest got burned, and so he's living through that traumatic experience over and over again, and it's the secondary succession, the world will heal, and that type of stuff. But that's a good idea, but I would say that it's just the starting spells, and this is probably the biggest thing outside of the meta progression. Whenever you purchase one skill upgrade, it increases the cost of all the other skill upgrades and the entire skill tree. that just hurts my soul, because I'm oh no, the math behind how much I'm going to have to get isn't straightforward. It's not okay, cool, I can plan out this costs 32 in this section of the skill tree, this costs 64, so on and so forth. No, I have to do additive math every single time. It's just one of those bleh. But with the starting spells, as you heard me say, there is a boulder spell that you can get and add to these spells. I would have thought that the game would have been more of a situation where you have the starting spells, but you can move, say, the boulder spell onto the main actual spell and move it around that way. That is not the case with Echoes of Mystralia. It is actually, these are the mains, and you're always going to be modifying them to have special effects with the other things that you pick up throughout the run. That comes with some negatives, because while in Hades, okay, you have the spear, you have the sword, you have the gun, you have the cestus, you have the shield. Those are your main weapons, and from that you build off of them for the other effects. You know, you can get the bombs with say Athena's parry ability and everything like that, but you're always going to have builds of the same weapon unless you get like a Daedalus Hammer that adds to the thing. There isn't any of the other stuff that makes kind of, I have other options. The only way to attack, at least so far as I can see, there might be something to do with dashing, but I haven't gotten any artifacts that goes that way. But all of the gameplay that you're going to have will be the 2 spells, and there's I think 3 more you can unlock, kind of with the same elements: fire, water, wind, earth, and so on and so forth. But, and I know there's like modifications you can have for each of the spells to be a different element, but outside of that, these feel like the bomb upgrades from Hades, and there should be a base something you're able to do, like some type of attack that allows you to move around. I get it, it's a wizard game, you don't want to just be throwing people, but just the amount of not quickness inside of it matched with some of the gameplay errors I've experienced, because there's for some reason a bug, at least in the demo, where if you are inside of an animation and you cut out of it quickly, your person will be stuck in a movement sequence that lowers your maximum move speed, and has gotten me killed a couple of times during the demo. But you know, that can be ironed out. But like, just at the base of the gameplay, I am concerned that the variety will not be as grandiose as it could be by locking down what the spells could be, especially in the beginning, especially when it comes to just liking of things, because you got to get the meta progressions to be able to unlock the different spells to start off with, which, once again, going back to Hades, in Hades, while you may have had to also get the meta progression to be able to get the spear, the gun, the cestus, the shield, and so on and so forth, you could always modify your bomb. You can always modify which attack you had on your sword, and that made things feel different / feel different. You're always going to have the whirlwind boomerang if you don't purchase anything. You're always going to have the lightning bolt if you don't purchase anything else, and you have to get modifiers that don't really change it that much, outside of being overpowered or potentially just giving you a situation where it's like, okay, here's my main skill and the secondaries thing. This has been a lot of talking. Of all to say, I do enjoy Echoes of Mystralia. It is currently a game that I'm like, I hope this does great things, because this could be a very fun game. Oh my god, okay, sorry, I lied. One more thing to talk about. The movement of the progression through whenever you do a run. It feels like the game should have a map system a la Slay the Spire, where you can see where the progression is, because you have multiple sectors you go through before you go and fight the boss, at least it was inside the demo. That has created a situation where you get past the fight encounter, and you go to see the rooms you have left, and sometimes there's only one option. Now, this isn't a seeded tutorial run type, oh, you have to go through the thing. After like run 4, while there are some situations where it's like, oh, okay, cool, I have to talk to this person to be able to figure out and learn things, but for the most part, it did not feel like it was one of those you have to run it exactly inside the way we feel like. But when you're trying to expand upon your builds, and you only have about 4 to 5 encounters before you have to go to the next section of the place, and in the demo, there's a mini boss / boss that, for the main story reason, that's in the second world, and you would, gameplay progression, go and fight him, but you're not really strong enough, especially you don't have meta progression. And so, especially with some of the movement disabilities that come up from the glitching, it could be a kind of negative fight. And so if you were to skip that and just go to the main boss, in my opinion, which is a lot easier than the mini boss, I was able to defeat him on my first try. Mileage may vary, but it's just one of those situations where why not have, at least in the tutorial, and I get it because you want to have the movement part, you want to be able to have the main story and everything, but you may not want to give them World 2 or Act 2. But why not just have that person be there, or at least stop you before, in a situation where it's like, okay, cool, you still get to experience a full run if you're able to defeat him without having to fight the boss, and then you can go back. Meta progression, story, you're in control of that a little bit better. But I don't know, I'm going on tangents about my things, and I guess I can do that if I feel like it, but the game is fun. The game is fun. But there are many things in the game, I would say, that take away from the fun, and some of it feels like, and this is just, you know, someone who plays the game, could be a complete utter hassle when it comes to coding all of this. It feels as if the game itself does not want the player to have as many as expressions as it can to keep a lid on what they're able to do. Like, imagine instead of having the 5 spells you could purchase, it is instead just like all the main spells you can get, say like in Noida, where it's like, oh yeah, here's the boulder and everything else like that, and you start, and that's what you choose from. I can't imagine what the coding would be like that, but like, just like the innovation for the base of it was grand and Marvel when it was first announced. But it has been, I want to say maybe even like a year, maybe a year and a half since it has. And there have been many marked iterations of the same idea done through drastic effects. And I feel like the game is going to be marred when it comes to public reception because of the lack of free flow magic that the game does not allow for. But let me know what you guys think about this. You can go check it out right now. Steam Fix, baby! Best time of the year! Demo's out right now. You guys try it out. Tell me if I'm crazy. Tell me if you guys even enjoyed this. I don't know. We'll see how it gets into. Probably try to get a couple more of these type videos out for Next Fest and a whole bunch of games that I've been playing. If you want to check it out, you can follow me on Twitch. We're streaming again, or you can just subscribe here. Ooh, you see a little thing flash right there? Subscribe for more things. Until next time, I'll see you then. Peace.